Today, the modern Middle East is defined by a shadow war between Iran and Israel, marked by assassinations, proxy battles, and direct ballistic missile strikes. Yet the specific Iranian nuclear program that Israel is desperately trying to dismantle right now was originally built with blueprints provided to Iran by the United States. In fact, the very first generation of Iranian nuclear scientists were actively trained by Israeli experts. How did two modern mortal enemies begin as covert allies, integrating their energy sectors and intelligence services? The current crisis in the Middle East is the material legacy of a multi-billion-dollar strategic partnership. This map shows the Middle East immediately following World War I. The Ottoman Empire had collapsed, and its dissolved borders were quickly replaced by newly unified Arab states. Over here, the Shia Persian monarchy of Iran suddenly felt surrounded. They viewed this growing Sunni Arab coalition as a direct threat to their own sovereignty. Down on the Mediterranean coast, Israel faced an identical problem upon its creation in 1948. The newly formed state was immediately attacked by a ring of those exact same Arab neighbors. To solve this, Israel's first prime minister, David Ben-Gurion, devised a strategy. He called it the peripheral doctrine. The logic was simple. Survive by leapfrogging your immediate hostile neighbors to form covert alliances with their non-Arab enemies on the outer edges of the region. The resulting partnership between a Jewish state and a Shia monarchy was driven entirely by geographic mathematics and mutual survival. Religious differences simply did not factor in. Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, the Shah of Iran, needed modern technology and American favor to secure his grip on power against domestic and regional threats. To suppress internal dissent, he formed a secret police force known as Savak. To ensure they were effective, Israeli Mossad agents were brought in to teach them advanced surveillance and interrogation tactics. This map highlights the massive economic hurdle they faced. Israel needed oil, and Iran had plenty of it. But an Arab boycott, combined with Egypt's tight control over the Suez Canal, completely blocked Iranian maritime shipments. The two nations funded a multi-million-dollar workaround, the covert Eilat-Ashkelon pipeline. This overland route connected the Red Sea directly to the Mediterranean, successfully bypassing Egypt altogether. Diplomatic theory had materialized into physical reality. The two nations were now integrated through their national security and economic infrastructure. In 1957, the American Atoms for Peace campaign launched, specifically designed to distribute nuclear technology to U.S. allies. This program provided Iran with its very first nuclear research reactor. Simultaneously, Israeli engineers and military advisors set up operations inside Tehran. They actively trained the generation of Iranian nuclear scientists who are systematically targeted today. The alliance peaked alongside the Shah's power, culminating in the 1971 Persepolis celebration, a lavish anniversary party for the Persian Empire. To maintain their open secret, Israel was intentionally left off the official guest list. Yet behind the scenes, Mossad designed and managed the entire security grid for the event. By the late 1970s, Israel and the United States had engineered Iran into a heavily armed, technologically equipped, and secured regional power. That security infrastructure eventually backfired. Deep public resentment toward the Israel-trained Savak police boiled over, fueling the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Ayatollah Khomeini took power and immediately dismantled the alliance. One of his first acts was seizing the covert Israeli trade mission in Tehran and transferring the building directly to Palestinian leadership. Yet when the brutal Iran-Iraq War erupted just 1 year later, a strange geopolitical twist occurred. Israel quietly resumed supplying advanced weapons to Khomeini's newly established anti-Zionist government. The logic was purely calculated. Israel chose to arm an ideological enemy simply to prolong the war and exhaust their immediate Arab neighbor, Iraq. Operating entirely on realpolitik, Israel actively maintained the military capacity of an Islamic republic dedicated to its destruction, all to preserve a temporary regional balance. By the 1990s, the dust from the Iran-Iraq War had settled, the immediate Arab threat to Israel diminished, and the geopolitical map flipped once again. The most capable threat in the Middle East was now an ideologically radicalized Iran. And they were operating off the exact intelligence frameworks and nuclear foundations provided to them decades prior. In their mid-century scramble for security, the United States and Israel engineered and armed the greatest existential threat they face today.